Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still catching my breath from what was a manic Super Sunday because there was so much action, not just in the T20 World Cup, but the world of sport in general, that, there was actually quite a few things that you may or may not have missed out on, especially while you were asleep. And that's why we are here today with you to actually bring you some of the more interesting news updates that took place, which you may have missed out on among all the chaos of what was a very frenetic final day of the T20 World Cup Super 12 stages. But let's start with the T20 World Cup and specifically the Super 12s. Now, we all remember that Pakistan ended up making it to the semi-finals of the World Cup somehow, despite the fact that they were all but ruled out. But the upset win that the Netherlands had over South Africa opened the door for Pakistan because they knew that after that, all they needed to do was beat Bangladesh and their spot was sealed. True enough, that's exactly what happened, but the Pakistani people are actually pretty clear about giving that one assist to the Netherlands cricket team, and so it's even proved in social media where you've had Pakistan fans in general not only of course thanking the Netherlands for that favor, but it's true even for players as well as ex-players. So if you look at some of the reactions that have come in, Shahnawaz Dahani actually took to Twitter and posted this tweet where he posted with a caption where he said that friends in need are friends indeed. Congratulations to the Netherlands team and congratulations to Pakistan. And obviously, as you can see him here, he's posed alongside some of the Dutch players. Again, as I said, Pakistan making it to the semis was a big thing, but it would not at all have been possible without the Netherlands beating South Africa. So in that sense, you can understand why exactly it is he's putting out this. But it isn't just him. Even former players, in fact, have taken to social media to show their appreciation and even point out some certain interesting things that, happen on the field. Now, you have Shoaib Akhtar, who for a fact has become a bit of an internet sensation in recent times. He took to Twitter and he shared this video, which we can't share here for legal reasons. He took to Twitter and shared this video of, Babar Azam and the Pakistan captain Colin Edwards actually looking at each other and nodding and just, acknowledging each other. And he said that, look, what a beautiful moment between the captains of Netherlands and Pakistan. They got us into the semi-finals. We ensured their entry into the next T20 World Cup. And Shoaib Akhtar is actually correct because how the qualification system for the T20 World Cup works is that the teams that finish in the top 4 of the Super 6s in their respective groups, they end up getting automatic qualification into the next World Cup and won't have to play in the qualifiers, because if you remember, 8 teams play the qualifiers, so 4 are the teams who finish in the bottom 2 here of their groups, as well as of course the other associate nations. So that is actually how it works. Fascinating actually when you look back at it. And it is actually, true. If, of course, it also needed India beating Zimbabwe to actually ensure that Netherlands made it, because if Zimbabwe had won, they would have in fact made it with 5 points. But what Shoaib's saying is not exactly wrong either, and he wasn't the only former player who made this sentiment clear on social media. Mohammad Hafiz, who in fact he was part of the presentation during that Netherlands versus South Africa match. He actually took to Twitter and said that I'm presenting this man of the match award to Colin Ackerman, who was the man of the match. He's saying, with special thanks as a fan of Team Pakistan, and he put this tweet out and he put out a few pictures where he's shaking Colin Ackerman's hand and he's standing there giving him the big thumbs up. So you can see pretty clearly that even though Pakistan have made it to the semis, and truth be told, they did make it there of their own merit, but they do owe a little bit of special thanks, as he puts it, to the Netherlands team for doing them a massive favor and actually ensuring that when it came down to it, Pakistan had their fate in their own hands. Because if South Africa had won, then for Pakistan it was going to be mission impossible almost, because they would have needed Zimbabwe to beat India. That's the degree which they had found themselves in. But in the most Pakistan way possible, they have somehow made it to the semis now and will be taking on New Zealand. Now, speaking of course of the other team that made it yesterday, who confirmed their qualification from that group, India made it to the semis, of course, thanks to, in no small part, to a wonderful knock from Suryakumar Yadav. Remember, he was playing some fantastic shots against Zimbabwe, and it was quite frankly outrageous. That's the reason why this picture is what you can see here. This is just one of many shots that he was just playing, and he left the Zimbabwe bowlers clueless. as to how to deal with him. And naturally, his knock earned praise from India's head coach Rahul Dravid as well, because Dravid said that, look, we note for the fact that he's worked very hard on his game. He works very hard on his fitness. He works very hard on his innovativeness. He's saying, but to do it at the level at which he's done it over the years, no wonder that he's India's main batsman in T20I cricket. And more importantly, he also said that, look, it's one thing to be able to play unorthodox shots, but it's quite another to do it with the kind of consistency that he has. And it's a very, very true sentiment, because I mean, Surya is an unorthodox player. Yes, he's innovative. He's not afraid of taking risks, but that sort of an approach can often also lend itself to you losing form, because you might just end up getting out early. You might not be able to consistently put runs out. That Surya has managed to adopt an approach like this, whilst also consistently being among the runs. It's nothing short of fabulous. Moving on now from the world of cricket, and there was plenty of news from the world of football, specifically some results that caused me a little bit of pain due to my allegiances. Starting with that match, Arsenal ended up beating Chelsea 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, and it ensures that the Gunners stay on top of the Premier League table. The goal came courtesy of Gabriel Magalhaes, their centre-back and one of three Gabriels in the team, and it ensures that Arsenal finish ahead of Manchester City on the week. And remember, it's important that Arsenal stay on top for now, because next week the coming fixtures will be the last round of fixtures that we will be seeing before, of course, the 2022 FIFA World Cup. So if Arsenal can actually stay on top of that, they'll actually stay on top for a while, because domestic football will be suspended to actually ensure that international football takes center stage. Speaking of the World Cup, obviously there'll be plenty of that coming from us as well, so plenty of coverage on that, so stay tuned. We have lots of stuff coming from you from there, but for now, let's keep the focus back on club football. And Liverpool ended up getting a very, very good result away from home. They took on Tottenham Hotspur, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and a well-fought 2-1 victory was what they took home. The pressure is on Spurs manager Antonio Conte, despite the fact that Spurs are currently in the Champions League spots. They are under some pressure, because there are question marks not just over Spurs' approach when it comes to how it is that they play, but also what exactly their future might be under Conte. I mean, Conte himself has, or more often than not, had a lot of public outbursts. It's not looking like a great situation. To his credit, he did ask for some patience. Whether or not he gets that, or whether or not he'll be patient enough to stick around after this season, is something that we don't really know as of now. The good news for Liverpool, however, is they managed to put up a good victory against one of the top sides, and something they badly needed. They ended up losing matches to both, teams like Nottingham Forest and whatnot. So it's not been good times for them. Their form has been a little poor. Good thing is they have found some form right now. So hopefully they can keep this going till, of course, the time comes when there's that break and the World Cup starts. Continuing on with some football news, Aston Villa ended up stunning Manchester United 3-1 at home. Now, again, given the kind of inconsistency that Manchester United have shown this year, you might think that's not really much of a stunning loss, but still, Manchester United have been in good form recently, and Aston Villa are now under new management. Remember, former Arsenal manager Unai Emery is now in charge, and he actually put up a pretty good showing on his debut match. 3-1 victory, pretty much nothing better than you can ask for at this point of time. Whether or not the villains can kick on, that's something that we'll see, but for now, they can celebrate a very well-earned win over Manchester United. And we also have some news from the world of tennis, where Norwegian youngster Holger Rune has made waves by actually defeating Novak Djokovic in the final of the Paris Masters. Now, Rune actually required a little bit of luck to get to the semis, to get to the final in the first place, because he was up against Carlos Alcaraz, but Alcaraz, who was of course the current US Open champion, had to retire due to an injury, so Rune made it to the final. Rune, by the way, is only 19 years old and is currently, he was unseeded in this tournament, but the fact that he managed to prevent Djokovic from getting a 7th Paris Masters title, and the fact that he's now won 2 ATP titles in this year itself, means that he's suddenly shot up to the top 10 of the rankings. He's currently 10th in the ATP World Ranking. So another youngster to actually keep an eye out on in the world of tennis. Exciting times, even as we reach a point where, Roger Federer is retired, Nadal is plagued with fitness issues, and Djokovic is suddenly losing to 19-year-olds. Good time to be a tennis fan, I'd say. And with that, I'm bringing a close to this particular edition of the Morning Update. Thank you all so much for joining us as always on every morning. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. And if you enjoy what it is that we do on this channel, please don't forget to show us all your love in this video by liking it, sharing it with your friends, leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tap that bell icon so you know when we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Then you can go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Thank you all once again for joining us. As always, I've been Shane Reyes. I hope to see you all with us through the day. But for now, goodbye.